Hello and welcome to our latest urgent market update video for Wednesday, the 22nd of May, 2024. Now, this particular short video will discuss whether the markets will actually react to Nvidia earnings. You may have been privy to some of the developments recently where the micro is by far driving the macro view. So you've probably heard about the Magnificent Seven or the Fabulous Four or any sort of breakdown along those sorts of lines. And this is the last large cap tech corporate earnings that in this second quarter earnings report. And we've got some interesting observations to make, and we're going to assess whether these markets are likely to react to this particular micro news event. So let's break it down for you in a little bit more detail. Okay, so hello and welcome. Will markets react to Nvidia earnings? That's what we'll break down for you. If we can, first of all, start with our risk warning. As always, just take a brief moment to familiarize yourself with our risk warning currently up on screen. Do feel free to pause the video if you need. Okay, so let's get straight into the topic of this video. So we shall start with a breakdown. We'll bring down the earnings calendar for today, Wednesday, the 22nd of May. And at the top of the pile here, we have Nvidia. Now, just firstly, look at the market capitalization of Nvidia compared to the next largest cap, which is PDD Holdings. So we're talking about a company which is 10 times pretty much the size of the next largest market cap in terms of today's corporate earnings. So we're talking about a real significant player. So let's go into Nvidia in a little bit more detail, because there is a couple of interesting aspects to draw your attention to. Look at the size of the increased revenue over the last 4 quarters. We've seen exponential growth. It looks certainly like it's quite linear. So we've gone from 7 billion to 13 billion to 18 billion to 22 billion, sort of incremental moves. Now we're expecting something in the region of 24.5 billion. That's the forecast. Let's see what revenue number we get, and does it maintain that sort of overall pattern with these massive tech, with this tech AI rally. And of course they produce a lot of these AI chips, and as a result we're seeing demand increase exponentially, and as a result revenue levels and earnings per share increasing exponentially as well. So just want to make one more observation on this, is that we've seen close to, in the last few earnings, the forecast has sort of been within sort of $4 or $5 billion dollar increments, and we're still in that little sort of incremental phase. We're expecting pretty much a $4 billion increase on the previous forecast. And just making the observation, at what point will this relatively obscure company just 2 years ago, which is now one of the biggest companies in the world, at what point will, I suppose, this gravy train end, which is this euphoric AI rally, which we've seen drag global equity markets higher really quite significantly. And we've just made the observation that we've got the forward guidance really, or the forecast over the next, so certainly tonight's corporate earnings forecast, revenue numbers and earnings per share numbers, and the forecast for August. And what we can see, certainly over the last few quarters, is that we've seen this kind of $4 billion increment in terms of what the markets would be expecting. And you can see the next forecast, it looks like there's a bit of a slowing. So we're seeing a $2 billion forecast. So does that mean that we could be in the realms of close to topping out? Today's earnings for May the 22nd will go some way to suggest, will we actually, will the revenue numbers be in line with the forecast? Will it come in above forecast? Will it come in below forecast? And we're likely to see a bit of a significant reaction in these markets accordingly. However, projecting forward, it looks like the forecast or the incremental increase in the forecast itself looks to be reducing. So what does that mean for Nvidia share price? So we're up somewhere in the region of $90. Sorry, a 90% increase since the beginning of 2024. So, and we're very close to these all-time highs, even at the point where we're just about to see these numbers drop. You can see a little bit of weakness, but we'll see now how long that will last for, and whether these expected really positive earnings and earnings per share increases are likely to drive these prices higher. That would be our base case, that actually these numbers are still looking quite strong for now, and maybe in future quarterly earnings reports, we might start to see that revenues might begin to top out. Now, there's a few what ifs and buts with this type of market specifically, but there's this AI euphoric narrative in play, and we think today's forecast is likely to reinforce that particular narrative, i.e. Nvidia, we're likely to see a bit of a rally. Maybe we'll break the $1,000 barrier. We'll have to wait and see, of course. And it really does go back and begin to depend on these quarterly numbers. And the big headline number is whether we get revenue figures coming in above 24.5. And if so, or even in line 24.5 or above, we'd probably see an upside move in Nvidia. And as by default, we'll probably see the US equity markets rally in accordance. If it comes in below 24.5, you could argue you might see a little bit of panic, a bit of sort of profit taking up at these elevated levels begin to kick in, with perhaps a peak in sight, which would certainly make investors a little bit nervous about this AI rally. So to answer the question that we started out with, will Nvidia earnings, will these markets react to Nvidia earnings? Broadly speaking, the answer is yes. And it has the potential to drag these equity markets both higher and lower. Just to show you where we're at with this AI rally, we've been rallying really quite aggressively for quite some time. As you know, we keep making new highs as this market rallies exponentially. Certainly over the last year and a half, again, we've been in this really strong rally phase. And we're right up at the top level. We're right up at all-time highs. In fact, just a few hours ago, we made yet more all-time highs in this market. And the next move, unfortunately, is really going to depend on Nvidia. It shouldn't be the case. This is an index. This is a basket of America's top 100 tech firms. The S&P 500 is, by market capitalization, the largest 500 companies in the US. And these massive indexes are certainly heavily weighted in terms of in favor of these your major tech firms like Apple and Nvidia and Microsoft and Meta and Google, etc. And so really all eyes on today's Nvidia numbers. Will it keep that AI rally alive? We probably anticipate it's probably likely to be the case. If it comes in below expectation, we could probably expect a bit of a significant market response in the other way, to the downside. So So just to conclude then, we do think today's earnings has the capacity to be a really significant event for these markets. The broader narratives are a little bit obsolete with this earnings event really center stage right now. We had some US inflation numbers last week where they proved to be yet continuing to be sticky, and we saw a very significant risk-on rally across many of these markets, and certainly the global indice markets as well. So that is an outsized move off the back of probably dubious news, and the next focus for these markets would absolutely be the FOMC meeting minutes, which are due out shortly, and also tonight's Nvidia. So we can probably expect some fireworks. Very difficult to sort of pin a particular narrative. It's going to be pretty much reactive to the numbers, so to speak. So all eyes on Nvidia earnings in the not too distant future. Okay, so that just about concludes this urgent market update video. We do hope you found it useful. Thank you for joining us. Do stay tuned for our next video. We'll get it out once we have something interesting to say. If you are interested in learning how to trade, you can access one of our live discounted trading and education bundles on the website. It just starts from just $59 per calendar month. For more information, just go to thelivetradesroom.com and feel free to connect with us through our website if you need. Okay, great stuff. So look, on that note, thanks very much for joining us as always. Do take care, and we look forward to seeing you soon. For everyone here, bye for now.